Hey everyone, this is Aaron with Crypto Trends. Today, April 25th, 2019. BTC just took a dump. It just took a dump, and blood in the streets, blood in the water. Why is this bloody good news? Taking a look at volume spread analysis on here and to show you what's going on, okay? So please keep in mind that this is not financial advice, just my opinion. So let's go take a look, see what's going on here. All right. Okay, so here's BTC USD. This is on Bitfinex on the 3-minute chart. All right, and we can scroll in here. Well, first let me make sure I'm streaming. Yeah, okay, fine, I'm there. All right, so we had actually really low volume going on here. And what we did have, if we scroll out, is that we had this very large red candle here on volume. That was a sign. That's basically a push of lower prices right like that. And lo and behold, yeah, it pushed prices lower. Okay, wonderful, fine. We get that. And so what's the next thing? Next thing is that, let me chop that off there so we don't get the volume. Okay, the scale all messed up. Okay, so if you look in here at the volume, you can see there's really nothing. It's pathetically low volume, okay? They have little ups and downs, pretty much a straight test here, okay? So they're pretty much saying like right here, yeah, there's a little bit of interest. To the left and right of that, there's actually hardly any. They did that's a test, guys, okay? That's a test, that candle wick, that big one. There's no interest. Everyone is like, everyone that's going to sell has sold. And people aren't interested in buying at this because the price isn't high enough for them to buy, right? They have to have high prices to, I don't know, get chummed like fish to go buy. Anyway, that is what it is. So, lo and behold, still pathetically low volume. They even tried to make it go a little bit higher. It wouldn't go higher. There's just no volume in this. So they dumped it, okay? They did a lower end test. And it brought it back down into this box. I'll scroll out in a bit so you guys can see. But anyway, so we have this huge sell wick here. Let me scroll on in. There. Okay, huge sell volume. So they dumped it down. There was a little bit of resistance right here. Okay, a little bit, but not so much, okay? So they dumped it down. What did they do? They said, well, since you're not playing the game up here, we know a lot of people have their orders stacked to cover risk. You know, in case it went too low, they have their stops stacked. And so this was basically a stop hunt. All right? It was a stop hunt just to clear it out. It's not like they're, you know, they're clearing out a bunch of longs and stuff like that, but it was a stop hunting type of thing. And the good news about that, yeah, this is blood in the streets. Yeah, that's wonderful. But keep in mind is that strength comes from the lower areas, not from the upper areas. And so, yeah, even though we have a huge sell right here, it pretty much got turned around pretty quickly, right? Turned around really quick. And then notice that we have, let me put on my little thing here. Notice that we have declining size in volatility in the wicks here. It's smaller and smaller wicks, large to small. That's a good thing. We have an increasing bottoms, which is good. So we have higher lows. Really cool thing though about this is that we look at this one. That's a pretty tiny volume right there. I mean, it's not tiny. I mean, compared to this stuff over here, it's pretty big. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, I need to get the subscription. But anyway, the thing that's cool is that we are seeing decreasing volumes here, and we're starting to get a little bit more oomph as in, a little bit more oomph, 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 as in, a little b less effort to push it up. Okay, less effort to push it up. We have the decreasing price spread here, and the decreasing volume, which is a bullish sign when it's in a lower area. And that's like the bloody good news, because what that means basically is that the CO, the composite operator, has just did a lower bounds test to confirm if there's any interest in selling. If there's a lot of interest in selling, and there isn't. There isn't a lot of interest in selling, and there's actually not a lot of interest in buying. So what that means is that, and then they can push this up with pretty small effort, which means they basically have a majority of the coins in their control, that they control the supply, which is what they're after. And that's exactly what we want, because what happens when they have a control and supply, let me go here to the 45-minute. When they have a control of supply, what that means is that it starts to go up. But yeah, so if we scroll on in here, we can see that that is a huge sell. That was only equaled or greater than this huge buy here in the beginning. This is another thing to take a look at. Yeah, we had this, let me get this thing here. Yeah, we had this huge buy that started off this whole thing right here, right? And then we had its basically closing out, okay? We had its out way up here. And that completes like the BART box. You can think of these as being like a great big BART where it goes up. And so this was a close of basically this campaign. Okay, this little campaign that was going on. And let me get rid of this yellow line. Don't need to see that. But the thing is, which is cool, is that it came down and stopped at about the upper quarter, upper third of this box I had down here, which is like really cool. And if we scroll out and just look at this, we can see, you know, if we just go from this one here like that, you see how that goes? Let me make that line bigger. And this is for like a little bit longer term campaign. This is still pretty short term here, okay? Whoops. There. Okay, so basically what you can do is kind of like take the average right in between. This is not like highly technical TA. We're just getting the trend, okay? We don't care about the exact prices. We're looking at the overall trend. And so, yeah, so here we go. Its strength comes in at a low, and it's making its way back up. It popped down here, cleared out a bunch of orders, a bunch of stops. And why did it do that? It's because they want, what happens when you liquidate a stop? Those orders get sold, right? And then the people get liquidated. So it creates liquidation, liquidity in the market. And that's what larger investors, that's what the institutions need. They need liquidity. And when nobody's buying or selling, doing anything, well then, yeah, you can expect one large move one way or the other, and this will happen to be down to clear out all the stops, and that's fine. I mean, that's how it works. But it recovered fairly quickly, and we're on our way again. So this is on the 45-minute, and as you can see, hey, we're already at 2 candles. And one thing is that this popped up, it did not close way down here at the bottom, is that it closed up here. You see that? Let me scroll on even more, and yeah, I have the bars on instead of the candles, and that's so we can obviously see, or clearly see, where it closed right there. And then when it boop, price went up, came down, went over, price is now up, and it's moving up. So you see, it's a sign of strength. And yeah, so tell me what you guys think of this. Just doing a quick video that all is not lost, that this is actually a bullish sign in my style of trading, in my book. So and this has to deal pretty much with VSA, volume spread analysis, volume price analysis, stuff like that. It's based off of Wyckoff. So we'll see. Well, best of luck to everybody. And let me scroll it here to the 2 hour. See how we're doing. Let me bring this down. Let me scroll it to the 4 hour. Yeah, so overall trajectory on the macro side, we're still fine. Okay. One thing to note, if you take this line right here, this guy, and you go basically, you can go at the bottoms, let's say right there, and you just extend that out and you line up those bottoms there still. Okay, there you go. And so this is another bullish thing where it didn't come all the way down to that line. Alright, so things looking good, in my opinion. Things looking good. So yeah, and don't forget, it's a market. Can go up, can go down. You guys know the drill. That's about it, guys. So gonna go see if there's anybody on the chat not take off, because this is just gonna be a real quick video. And hey, there's Amor. Hey Amor, how's it going? Yeah, Nasha says quite a dump. Yeah, it was a dump. And then Chris, you're thinking this could be a spring? No. This isn't a spring. A spring. Let me go out here to the day. Okay, so we went up. You see this whole thing, how the... Oh, darn. Let me just kill that. What's going on? There it goes. Probably a lot of people using TradingView right now. Okay, so we had our markdown. This whole thing is a campaign, this whole area here. And we had our test up with a little bit of a markup. A spring would be down actually around, would be below this white line here. Okay, a spring would be right around in here. We're a long ways off of that. Not everything has to have a spring. There's often times where things do not have springs. And yeah, just keep that in mind. But it came back down, and so this is more of a continuation thing along this general trend. See how these BARTs line up? You have an open and then close and an open and a close, where they're making little parallelograms. Yeah, and so it's going that general trend still. If it came all the way down and went like that, that would have been a big dump. Okay, but if you just scrolling back at this level here, and I'm increasing the volume, shrink that up, I know. But if you look at that volume there, that's not really a whole heck of a lot of big reds, is it? I mean, that's right in this area here. So there's a whole bunch of them above that level. Okay. Cool thing is, though, is that they are able to sell some coins and get it down pretty far with minimal effort. That's a cool thing. But yeah, spring would be way down in this level, and we don't want to go there. That would be testing, let me get this out of the way. That would be testing this box right here. So at the bottom of the selling climax, it would do a lower test, but it already had that test right here. It had a low volume sell-off, and that failed, and so it went bullish. Okay, that's what we had right there. That was basically the spring. Okay, hope that helps. Hey Hanjo, how's it going, man? Says a lot of talk about the golden cross. Your thoughts? I use that for just basically market sentiment to gauge what retail investors think is going on. And that's basically one of the reasons why they had this stop hunt. Everyone's thinking golden cross, oh, it's just gonna skyrocket up, and so they're putting their stops in. and everybody's hanging on, hanging on. They're not selling. They're gonna ride this thing to the moon. Yeah, well, their stops just got liquidated, right? They just got triggered and they got liquidated, and that's because the market likes liquidity. Okay, so when you put a stop in, yeah, when you actually put a stop in the computer system instead of having like a mental stop, yeah, I mean, it's going to get triggered because the bots look for them. The bots look for them. But the Golden Cross, really, I don't pay any attention to it as far as it having any type of effect on the market other than what the retailers, on how the retail investors interpret it and do. And from that, you can basically tell, okay, well, they're going to be hunted down, because what happens is that the market's after the retail money. They're the prey, okay? And that's all it is. That's not it doesn't sound so nice way of looking at it, but that's how it is. So Golden Cross, don't pay any attention to it for the most part, as far as my actual trades go, unless it's in, it has to go into the psyche of the retail trader. Yeah, Chris, below the lowest point of accumulation, that's usually where a spring comes in, and it's a little bit later on in the campaign. So they had a lower volume sell-off here, and that pretty much failed, and that failed because of low volume, which means that they already had a majority of the coins. The people that were going to sell in this area or even lower were gone. This was a huge markdown when I think the CBOE got out, and a few other players got out, and another one stepped in, but it got tested again, and they have the coins, so they're happy to have their coins, and so they're picking more up. That's what they're doing right here. This is accumulation. So they're going up, and nobody was selling to them. No one was selling them the coins. And so they want liquidity in the market because, I mean, that's what they need. They need liquidity, so they created liquidity for themselves. Whammo, they dumped it. And they're buying it back in. Okay, and so, like, yeah. That's whammo. Whammo bammo. Let's go here to the 5 minutes, see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, it's still going up. And then, I mean, really, look at that pathetic volume. The volume is really pathetic. But so what'll happen is that it might come down again because this is a pretty small green candle and there's real minimal upswing. So we actually, because of this, because you see how my thoughts changed in just a second, we actually could see something like this and then another drop. Another substantial drop to get more liquidity. Let me bring this up. Let me get the auto off. Yeah, we could see a big drop. Whammo, to freak everybody out. This one caught everybody's attention and it cleared a bunch of stops. And that's basically all it did, but still there's really low liquidity, and on the small green volume here, it didn't push it up that much. And it was looking like it was getting pushed up more here with less and less effort to push it up higher, but that's apparently no longer the case. And just, I mean, things change in minutes, guys. Things change in minutes just like that. And so when you're on this time scale in the 5 minute, that's what it looks like. Even though it came way down here, it got stopped, got pushed all the way up, and now it's here, which is bullish, but I expected this candle here, this wick, to be larger versus the amount of volume. Okay, so on equivalent volume like that, if they had a lot of coins, it should have been more like this. Okay, it should have been proportionately larger. So we'll see. But yeah, so they could go down, dump it to really, it's called a shakeout, okay, to really shake the weak hands. And then that would actually have a same effect as a spring, but not go quite down to those levels, okay? And then it would just shoot right back up. You know, make that right back up and then be a V. As you can see that this green candle right here is just as large as this red one, okay? So boom, it stopped it, brought the price up. That's on the 5 minutes. Just go to the 1 minute, see what's going on. Okay, so there's a sell there. Really low liquidity. Good volume sell. Buy here. Yeah. So that, see how much effort it took to push the price up? That means there's a lot of downward pressure. A lot of downward pressure. But they kept on going up, 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 up. And price is stabilizing here. And they're accumulating. They're accumulating the coins. Create a little bit more panic FOMO. Not doing much. Notice here even lower volumes, even lower stuff. So when it gets really minuscule and the price ranges get super tight like that, yeah, we're looking for something to, let me put it on auto. There. Yeah, look at that. That's a doji. Yeah, we're looking for something to happen here. And this is an upper area. So upper areas come sign of weakness. This is an upper area. This is a strength. This lower area. So we'll see. This one. Yeah, it could dump. We'll see what happens. Or it could do that. I mean... Okay, it's like dumping a bit. Yeah, so that's the upper area. So just see what happens. And keep in mind, this is on the 1 minute now. The 1 minute. So usually a lot of people aren't familiar with 1 minute. See if I put it over on candles. Yeah, there we go. Maybe that's a little bit easier to see. I actually prefer the bars for a lot of stuff I do. I use candles when I'm displaying stuff on screens, but you guys should actually get used to reading the bars. It's easier to, for me, it's easier to see fluidity, like right in this area. To see the flow of the market. Whoops. To see the flow of the market. On how one bar goes into the next. That's just me, okay? But yeah, so up at the little bit upper range in this area, this was an upper range, right? This was an upper range. That's where you get the weakness. You can notice it's right around there. But we do have nice increasing lows. So interesting. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take this thingy. Start here. Go to this one of about, there's nothing of the same volume of that one. Great. Where do I place it then? Yeah, we'll just go there. We'll put it on that one. Yeah, so there you go. So if it, we'll see. So yeah, so there's the greens. We'll see if it hits this bar and bounces up or drops below. But all in all, you know, scrolling out, it's having a pretty quick recovery. And what do you, for all those pattern guys out there, what do you call that kind of a triangle? What do you call that kind of a triangle? So we'll see. And what usually happens with that kind of a triangle? And looking at it at this scale, yeah, we have decreasing volumes. Decreasing volumes down at the low. So we'll see. Kind of back up, if not lower than normal, right around this range. We'll see. Was that 54.30? Yeah, don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's about it, man. Oh, you have some interesting news. New York Attorney General going after Bitfinex for covering up lost funds by using Tether. Oh. Yeah. That's coming a bit late. I had that was supposed to hit around this time period, around January of this year. And it looks like it might be a little bit later for a tether event. And we'll see. When that hits, keep in mind that they're going to keep on pushing. Whatever you hear as far as bad news, just assume they're lying. Okay? And when you hear of good news, assume they're lying. And you'll be in good shape. They can't tell you the right time of day, man. Anyway, that's it, guys. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, get notified, all that good stuff. Keeping this one short, and best of luck to you. So, catch you later. Bye.